Welcome everybody. In today's video I'm just talking about the new series from Leatherman that discontinued sometime Black Friday. Wonder why. The Leatherman Juice series. I managed to nab the xe6 on Black Friday before they ran out. And this thing is phenomenal. And yes, those of you that understand Leatherman, you've already probably noticed something a little weird about the multi-tool. We'll get to that in a minute. It's a little mod of mine that I get a kick out of. But we'll get to that. So, for those of you that don't know, Leatherman Juice is a small multi-tool that Leatherman makes that is one of the plier-based forms. Actually, Leatherman does have like the scissors form, but pretty much everything Leatherman makes is plier-based. Unlike Victorinox, where most things are knife-based with a few plier-based multi-tools. But as you can see, this is a thick multi-tool. It's the same length as solid power pint, which I don't have on hand at the moment. I got burps. Every time I do a video, I get burps. But here's the Juice xe6. Here is the Victorinox Swiss Champ. So they're pretty much the same size as one another for all intents and purposes. If you see me glance over this way, I'm sitting by a window here and I'm just like catching movement in the corner of my eye and checking it out. Bear with me. But this is the Victorinox Swiss Champ. This is the xe6. Very similar tools. Both of them UK friendly. Sorry to my UK viewers if any of you tried nabbing this and couldn't. I bought one. Sorry. Yell at me in the comments down below if you wanted to buy one and couldn't. I might be responsible for there not being one of them. Yeah. But closed up, we're going to go on the outside tools here. A lot of things on this are outside accessible. We're going to start off with the knife blades, because they do something on this that I think is quite nice. The main smooth blade that you'll see here on this side is a nice sheep's foot blade with like a little bit of a kick there at the very end. Not sure if you can really pick that up. Very good blade. I've been sitting here working on this little piece of wood. You know, I'm getting these super thin, feathery, slices off of it. It's a fantastic cutter. It's awesome. And then on the other side, with a little bit of ridges on it. I don't know if you can see that. I kind of see it there on the screen. But the one with the ridges is the serrated blade. That thing is super freaking sharp. And that's just, even using it like a normal knife, I'm getting those big curls and stuff. Like, dang. Looks small on camera, big in your hand. We got that. We got my favorite part, the file. We've got the crosshatch file, edge file, diamond coated file, diamond coated side. Like, yes, thank you. Wonderful. Then using that, getting down in here, filing this down. Great tool. We'll get to this one last. And not the sharpest thing. It's more like if there's already a hole and you're trying to kind of like just ream it out, that sort of deal. You do have to open the awl to access the saw. You can grab it by the finger notch or kind of by using that angle there at the end. Great saw. Fantastic. Thin, slicey. If a saw could be slicey, this is slicey. I do have two complaints about the tool. Like Leatherman put all this effort into kind of making this surprise drop of Juice series for us Juice fans. And they didn't have the wherewithal to really do a good quality check on some of the tools. and the scissors. One is just like design features, like why this, but that's not necessarily quality control as much as just design flaw. But like the scissors, I get the scissors, and they don't cut threads, they cut paper. They cut paper really good. Fingernails, self-maintenance manicure set, great. These are more snips than scissors. Snips to me are things that cut thicker ropes and stuff that are denser. This would not cut paracord easily. Just so you know. I don't have any on hand at the moment to cut for a test, but did not cut paracord well. Kind of disappointing. Now the next thing up is the back of the scissors here. You can kind of see them by the glare that there's this angle carved into the handle that is very steep. And then you get this little piece here. I'm trying to keep it on camera and I get off camera. I'm sorry about that. But you get this little tension spring here, and they're supposed to kind of like wedge together. Well, mine is off center where it's either resting right on the edge, ready to pop off, or it actually crosses over and the spring does not engage. That's not good, Leatherman. Why couldn't you just do a simple flat back to this? Why did you put an angle on? Why did you have to round this at such a weird angle? Couldn't you just... This I'm not going to complain about too much. That's not too bad. But this, why such a steep angle? That ruins the function of this thing. It makes it harder on it, to me. Like, why didn't you just have a flat back to this? Why did you have to angle it so steep? I'm sorry, Leatherman, but scissors being one of my must-haves on a multi-tool, I've used scissors, and I've had good scissors, I've had bad scissors. This is on the bad scissors side. I'm sorry, Leatherman, but you gotta work on that. If you bring these back, just don't bother with all the angles, just do a flat back on the scissor spring. That weird overlapping double angle thing like that when you push down and the wedges like that, don't do that. Just do flat and have it. I don't like complaining about stuff, but that is a problem. That is a big problem. You need to fix that on the next batch if you do another one, which is probably going to be 10 years down the road. But next time those swing around, fix it. Now, design cues. I don't like how these pop up so high on the tool, but I'm not thinking that is a bad thing on this. I'm thinking, some of these things are like design cues to help you figure out which juice is from which sprint run. It's like this is more pronounced than the old Leatherman juice, and so that's going to tell people in the future, like this is from that 2022 sprint run. And on the plier heads, the old one says Leatherman and then Tool in the little cutouts, and this one just says Leatherman. Take note of that. Pliers, awesome pliers. I love the pliers. People are complaining that these aren't spring loaded and that they suck. I like the pliers. Pliers are good pliers. You get good on the pliers. Great on the pliers. But, yeah, got a problem. Next up, can opener, bottle opener, cap lifter, yada yada. Also, cork assister. When you get the corkscrew out, which you'll see in a minute, you can push down like that and pop up with the corkscrew. Next up is the corkscrew, great corkscrew, normal corkscrew, also fits. Victorinox eyeglass driver. I don't wear eyeglasses, but I do need a small driver like this is like a little pick or something now and then, so it's fantastic to have. It just fits right in there perfectly on a Leatherman. So I just get a kick that I can put a Victorinox piece on a Leatherman. You can probably swap that out for the Victorinox's fire ant stuff that they've been bringing out with like the little ferro rods, sharpening rods and stuff like that. Probably fit all that stuff on there. So keep an eye out, those could be good. Internal tools. Yes. Phillips driver. Great Phillips driver. Lovely Phillips driver. I love this thing. This thing's good. The little lanyard ring in there, if I can dig that out. Yep. It's a lanyard ring. What am I, it's a lanyard ring. Now, here's the next issue I have with Leatherman's products of this Sprint Juice series. The flatheads on the inside. I can dig the big one out. I love that you made them all, the notches all flat. The old ones were at a staggered angle. That's another design cue to help you know which one's from which series. Keep an eye open on eBay. Someone might be trying to sell you an old one and it's not. It could be a new one, vice versa. But the big one, I like the big driver. I can get that out fairly easy. Okay. And some of it is probably just a little bit of breaking in. I get that. And that's the one on this side, all the way over here. Now we'll go all the way to the other side and forget the one in the middle for just a moment. I can dig out the small driver. The medium driver, actually. Now, the small one, the middle one, I cannot pull that out without pulling my thumbnail back. I have to get another tool that's something stronger than my thumbnail, or that I'm not afraid of breaking. You ever broke a thumbnail trying to open a tool? Not fun. This little guy, probably never going to use, which is fine for me because I'm probably never going to use it. But why couldn't you make this easier to dig out? Like, I can dig the other tools out, but I cannot dig the middle one out when it's closed. When it's open, it closes easy enough. But trying to open it, it's like, I've oiled it, when I've taken pliers and pinched it and, trying to kind of like wear it in. And you didn't plan that out good enough, Leatherman. Just saying, that didn't work out too well. But that, at least, that is the one that I'm not using hardly ever. So it's really no big loss for me, but it's probably a big loss for some. And I know on the old Leatherman, that was an issue. That middle one was near impossible to get out. I don't know why it's the middle one, but it is. So that's pretty much a breakdown of all the tools on the Leatherman. I mean, you've got the plier stuff. You understand pliers, I think, pretty well. If you've been in the EDC community long enough, you understand. You've got normal pliers for grabbing stuff like that and cranking. You've got needle noses for getting into stuff and pulling stuff out. You've got the wire cutters, which are fantastic. I love these things. Not replaceable, like they are on the bigger ones, but they're good. So I like them. They're good. Everything on this is a great tool. The only two things I have issue with is the small flathead in the middle and the scissors. And I would have overlooked the flathead if the scissors were good. But the scissors came out, and I've had to cut loose threads on clothes and stuff, and it's like, oh, there we go. See already how that overlapped? That's because, and it's not overlapping in the correct angle of the grinds that are on the bits. It's like this torque bar is bent out some, and this is just loose enough that it's bending this way, and it just like crosses over, like, and it happened again. Leatherman, why? How did this get past quality control? I know that you guys do a little bit of this to make sure it works and you pass it on. I understand, but like, really? Big disappointment. Big disappointment. No, I'm not going to send this in to have it fixed. I don't know if Leatherman would take it with this being discontinued anymore. But this is that new sprint run that just ran out this Black Friday 2022. And already the scissors are like that. Like, this is out of factory like that. I can't believe that this slipped by. And then this is loose. So loose that, like, you know, small threads and stuff that I do a lot of leather crafting, so I do a lot of stitching and stuff to sew the leather together. And the threads don't cut. It doesn't cut the threads. It pinches and crosses over. It cuts thick stuff fine, which is good. But if I'm cutting thick stuff, I'm gonna use the wire cutters, depending on the thickness, what I'm cutting. And it cuts paper okay. There it goes again. That's my biggest complaint. Keep your eyes open on that, people. Might be more than just one that has that issue. But overall, what do I think of the tool? I think it's 10 out of 10. I do. Versatility, function, size, beautiful moss green scales that I've got on this one. You can get a couple different colors when they were in stock. Probably look around and find some. You know, different colors. Dogs. Different colors, different models. And it's just a good tool. If you can get your hands on a juice, get your hands on a juice. These are worth the money. Now, these were going for like $70 full price on Leatherman. You pay more than that on eBay. Try to dicker. Try not to pay more than what you would pay Leatherman. You know, it's a used tool. It may be a collector, but it's still new. It's not like an old model just yet. This is the new Sprint Run. Don't be paying no $300 for these things. They're not that worth it. They're worth it, but they're not that worth it. You know what I mean? And I just get a kick out of that little Victorinox screwdriver. I need to get me some of the fire kit stuff for Victorinox. But I love the file, love the blades, everything. Fantastic. Love it. Love it. So, that's the Leatherman Juice xe6, xe6. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found some of the information here useful, entertaining, yada yada. And until the next video, carry well. Bye-bye.